As stated in the title of this video, you never need to change the gear oil in the differential of a 2002 Mustang GT, with the obvious exception of water infiltration or a major rebuild. And that's according to the 2002 Mustang GT Owner's Manual shown here. And the 2003 Mustang Workshop Manual takes it one step further. They actually instruct you to save the old gear oil so you can pour it back in later. I don't really think Ford is that thrifty. I think they just say that because they want to drive home the point that you never need to change the gear oil except for extenuating circumstances. But maybe you want to change it anyway, because it's a slow day and you got nothing better to do. Or maybe you're like me and you got to change your seals and wheel bearings and don't want to be bothered saving the old gear oil. Whatever your reason for changing your gear oil, I'll show you how to do it and do it right. The very first step, of course, would be to jack up your car and put it on jack stands. And as you can see, I've already done that. The next step will be to remove the differential cover. And make sure you put a drain pan under it that has an opening that's at least as wide as the width of the differential cover, because there is no drain plug, so when you remove the cover, the oil will pour out along the width of that opening. Now, even if you're like me and don't plan on reusing the old gear oil, it's still a good idea to have a clean drain pan. That way, if you find any metal filings or contaminants in there, you know it could have only come from the differential, and that would be cause for concern. Alright, so now I'll go ahead and remove the bolts. There are 10 of them, which, by the way, are not metric. They are 5/16 so they take a half-inch socket, not a 13mm. Now, 13mm is only about 1/100 of an inch bigger than half-inch, but these bolts have Loctite on them and are torqued down to 32 foot-pounds at the factory, so you're better off with the more snug fitting socket. Now that I've broke them all free, I'll just wind them out by hand and remove them entirely. And there are two ID tags, one here and one over here. Now I gotta go get a piece of wood and a hammer to knock this cover loose, cause it's installed with silicone gasket maker at the factory, so it's pretty much glued on. Okay, I got a piece of wood and a hammer, and I'll just give it a few light but firm taps. There it goes. And now I can just pull the cover back by hand and try not to make a mess. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of oil in there, but that comes as no big surprise, cause I knew the axle seals were leaking. And if you have a GT, you're gonna have a rear sway bar here, which adds a very slight challenge to removing the cover. You just gotta kinda slide it over to the right and angle it in until you have enough room to remove it from the bottom. And there you go, the cover's removed from the differential and freed from the car. Now, while I'm waiting for the residual oil to drain out, I'll take a look at the vent. Okay, right here on the top of the passenger side axle tube is the axle vent. There's nothing much to it. It's basically just a breather valve. It allows air to move in both directions while preventing oil from coming out and debris from coming in. Although it's not a very impressive piece of hardware, its function is very important, because if it were to get clogged, the built-up pressure would escape through the axle seals, causing them to leak. So it's definitely something you should inspect for proper operation when you're doing any work on a differential. So just take your finger and you should be able to push down and it should spring up. Now, more than likely, if it's moving freely like that, if the cap moves freely, it's good. But if you want, you can remove it with a 15mm wrench so you can inspect it more thoroughly. And I already loosened it up, so I can take it out the rest of the way with my fingers. Now that it's removed, you can look right in there. And like I said, there's not much to it. So it's really easy to verify that it's operating properly and not clogged. Now that I've confirmed it's all good, I'll put it back in. I'll put some Permatex number 2 in the threads to make sure they don't leak, and then thread it in by hand, making sure it's not cross-threaded, and then tighten it down with a 15mm wrench to about 10 to 15 foot-pounds. You want it tight enough so it won't vibrate loose, but the axle tube wall is thin, so you don't want to risk stripping the threads by over-tightening. Alright, now that I'm done with the axle vent, I'll go check out the differential itself for wear. Okay, I'm back at the differential, and the first thing you want to do is rotate the ring gear a full 360 degrees, so you can visually inspect every tooth for any obvious damage, such as chips or scoring. And while you're at it, check the teeth on all 4 spider gears as well. After you've determined there's no damage, you can go ahead and check the ring gear for wear. One way of doing that is by measuring the backlash, but that's time consuming. A very fast and fairly reliable way to check the ring gear for severe wear is to observe the contact pattern of the teeth. And you would use the same criteria that applies for setting up new gears, except there's no need for marking compound, because the wear pattern will be evidenced by the shiny portion on the teeth. Once you've completed all these checks and have determined that your differential is in good or at least satisfactory condition, you can go ahead and clean the mating surface for the cover on the differential housing. And before you clean the sides and the top of the housing, you should cover the inside with rags or craft paper so you don't get any debris in there. And now you can scrape the rest of the silicone or gasket material off without worrying about getting any crap in there. Then I'll take a piece of the coarse Scotch-Brite, the red stuff. Soak it in a little xylene or whatever solvent you have handy. Gasoline would be fine. And then scrub away all the remaining residue. And for the final pass, wipe it down with a paper towel dampened with solvent. Okay, the differential opening flange is all cleaned up. But before I remove the craft paper, I want to clean out all the bolt holes with some brake cleaner, because I'm going to be putting the bolts back in with Loctite, like from the factory. And Loctite works better if the threads are clean. Okay, now that that's done, I'll give it an overall spritz of brake cleaner and finally remove the craft paper. I got 4 layers in there. Okay, the differential is now ready for the reinstallation of the cover. Here's the differential cover. And as you can see, I've already cleaned the mating surface and the inside. The outside's not that critical. I just wiped it down with a rag soaked in gasoline to get rid of the loose dirt. Besides, the Mustang has pretty low clearance, so no one ever sees it. And I'll be going with a gasket, even though Ford used silicone at the factory. And the part number in Felpro is RDS 55341. And it says right here, Ford products, 8.5 and 8.8 inch ring gear, 1982 through 99. But I got a 2002, and it's not listed. My guess would be that Ford switched over to silicone instead of gaskets after 1999. Just to be sure, I'll double check the fit, which is always a good idea, even if all the numbers match. And it fits exactly. Now I'll coat it with some Permatex number 2 gasket sealant to ensure a good seal. I'll just apply a bead along the center of the gasket, and then spread it out with my finger so it's even across the entire surface. Then I'll flip it over and do the same to the other side. And since this cardboard is covered in plastic, it won't stick. At least that's the hope. Okay, now that both sides are coated with gasket sealer, I'll peel the gasket off the plastic. And the plastic seems to have worked quite well. I still got plenty of gasket sealer on this side. Now I can go ahead and stick it to the mating surface of the axle housing. Just got to take a second here and make sure all the holes are lined up. And there you go. It's on there. Now I'm ready to install the differential cover. And in order to get it where it goes, I got to first raise it up between the axle tube and the sway bar. And you can see I covered the axle tube with some plastic, because it's a pretty tight gap and I didn't want to get any rust or dirt on the mating surface. Now that I got the hump past the sway bar, all I got to do is raise it up, rotate it, and guide it over the ring gear. Now that I have the cover in place, I'll screw in 1 bolt at the bottom and 1 bolt at the top to line it up properly and hold it in place. Now before I put all the bolts in, I'm going to prep them with Loctite and anti-seize. Yeah, I know, it's like fire and ice, but there's a reason for it. I'm putting Loctite on the threads because that's how it came from the factory. And anti-seize on the underside of the head because the bolt's steel and the cover's aluminum. And the anti-seize will eliminate, or at least minimize, the galvanic reaction between the 2 different metals. Now that the bolt's prepped the way I want it, I'll run them by hand, and I'll do the same for the remaining 9 bolts. After I installed all the bolts with Loctite and anti-seize, I torqued them down to 22 foot-pounds in a cross-torque pattern. But Ford specifies the torque at 32 foot-pounds. However, they also specify to use silicone gasket maker instead of a gasket. But I'm using a gasket here, and 32 foot-pounds seems to be overcompressing it. In addition, the ASME, American Society of Mechanical Engineers, recommends a torque value of 20.6 foot-pounds for a 5/16 18 grade 5 bolt. And considering that the underside of the heads of these bolts are serrated and they have Loctite on the threads, Ford went beyond belt and suspenders. They went belt and suspenders on a pair of overalls. So I have absolutely no concern in my decision to reduce the torque to 22 foot-pounds. And now that the cover's back on, I can go ahead and refill the differential. Obviously, I'll need to remove the filler plug, and it's located at the rear of the differential case on the driver's side, just above the rubber snubber. Not exactly the most convenient location, but hey, according to Ford, you never really got to change the gear oil, except for extenuating circumstances. And to make it easy to see, I'll zoom in on the plug. You should be able to see it clearly now. I'll even throw in a label and an arrow. And the plug has a 3/8 square socket, so all you need is a 3/8 extension and a ratchet to remove it. Okay, here's the filler plug, and it is magnetic, although due to its location, I don't imagine it's very effective at catching metal filings. As for the oil, Ford specs 75W140 synthetic gear oil, plus 4 ounces of friction modifier for a total volume of about 2 quarts. You don't have to run down to the nearest Ford dealer to get the oil. Any decent brand of 75W140 synthetic gear oil will meet or exceed Ford specs. And conveniently, most brands will come with the proper amount of friction modifier already added. I chose a brand that came in a flexible container, basically a pouch, because access to the filler hole is tight. And to minimize the risk of spillage, I added an 8-inch length of flexible vinyl tubing to the nozzle. So all I gotta do is put the tube in the filler hole, elevate the pouch, and squeeze the oil out. As far as how much oil to put in there, the 2002 Mustang GT Owner's Manual says 2 liters, 2 1/8 quarts, while the 2003 Workshop Manual says 3.5 to 3.75 pints. But they both say the fill level is 1/4 inch to 9/16 below the bottom of the filler hole. And in all fairness, the 2003 Workshop Manual states the fill level as approximate. So how I interpret this is to just fill a differential with 2 quarts of oil, without bothering to squeeze out every drop of oil in each container. Now all that's left is to reinstall the drain plug. Unfortunately, the socket in this drain plug is so shallow that the D10 ball in the extension doesn't engage. A quick remedy for that is to tape it to the extension so it doesn't fall off when you're navigating it to the hole. You should also put some RTV in the threads to serve as a thread sealer, and then thread it in by hand, making sure it's not cross-threaded. Remove the tape if you used it, and tighten it down with a torque wrench to 22 foot-pounds. And that's it, the job is finished. And if you did all the checks I recommended, you also know the condition of your differential.